today with Historical Truth 101. I'm going to be interviewing Mr. Henry here in Florence, Alabama.
And I was born on April 15th, 1926. That's the date. The date is kind of famous because it was the date the Titanic sank and the date Lincoln was shot and Income Tax Day all together.
Do you remember when Pearl Harbor was bombed, where you were at that day?
And when we came out, there were crowds of people around, excited, of course, and we found out what had happened. I was 15 years old. Little did I know how much of a world-changing situation was going on at that time.
When you joined the military, were you drafted or did you just go join? How did that come about?
With my mother's reluctant permission, I was allowed to join the Marine Corps when I was 17.
Where did they send you to?
I was a replacement on Guadalcanal. We trained for, our next operation was to be an island in the Ryuka group called Okinawa. And at that time, Iwo Jima was taking place, and it was a little bit unsettling that they had a lot of casualties and started taking people from our division to replace the Iwo Jima casualties. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, the biggest blast you've ever heard went off, and that increased our speed topside considerably. But it was a single lone Japanese plane that had dropped a bomb in the bow of the aircraft carrier. We understood there was a great loss of life in that situation. They transferred all of their planes and pilots to other carriers, and they made their way back to the States under their own power, only to fight again. When the battle was over, I was there 103 days, and the battle was over. We retreated back to Guam and made our preparations to hit the Japanese mainland. My gear was already aboard ship at the time that bomb was dropped, and within just a matter of days, I would have been on my way to the shores of mainland Japan, and my division would have been in the second wave. They estimated, our intelligence estimated, that the 10th wave would get ashore to stay.
You were brought back to the United States?
No, I wasn't brought back to the United States. I was taken to China to go to China to repatriate the Japanese back to Japan. And most of them were soldiers, but there were some civilians who went also. They surrendered. They knew the war was over. The main thing that was concerning us there was the Chinese communists from the north of China, and they were making their way south. We had another war in China that nobody in this country ever heard of.